The first car by us in Greenfield. I can remember me that good yet, how it was by us in Greenfield before it gave cars in our village, and as we drove everywhere with horses yet. In those days it was my job always, when we wanted to go somewhere, to make the horses ready and to hitch them on. I remember how I would go in the harness room, which was in the oven side that Father had built on by the barn, and get the harnesses from the hooks off and take them to the stall to harness up. Then I would lead the horses from the barn out and across the yard by the house door where the Democrats stood and hitch them on. But when I got 16, it got different by us as Father bought our first car. Ours was also the first car in Greenfield. He had already long wanted to buy a new car, but so far the preacher had always talked him off from it. But when we got a new preacher, Father said one morning that he was going that day to town to buy a new car. He told us to be very still about it, so the preacher wouldn't find it out until he came with it home. I think it was the longest day of my life as we waited for Father to come with a new car home. We were so excited we could hardly hold it out. I told the neighbors' boys they should watch out only what they would see when Father came, but what it might be they knew nothing from. That afternoon, as we had vesper out, we heard Widow Fleming's hens making a noise, and the sound of an engine by the summer kitchen door. We ran all by the door out, and there sat Father in our new car. The dust was still settling, and Father looked a little worried as he told me to go by the road and look once if any of Mrs. Fleming's hens were there lying. He said that he drove a little fast up, and Mrs. Fleming's hens were in the road, and he maybe drove one or two under. I went to the road and looked, but found no hens. But I thought it was to laugh how the neighbors stood by their front gates on both sides of the village and looked our house up to where the car held still. Then I saw Widow Fleming come by her front door out. I thought I should better bring me away from there, because she was now always mad ever since Widower Weens in the next village gave her the basket. The noise of the hens and the car wouldn't make it better. I ran quick in our yard, and Widow Fleming didn't follow me after. Father was glad to hear he didn't drive any of the hens dead. He then showed us all the nice leather seats in the front and the back of the car, and even let me sit behind the steer wheel. Then he took us all around and showed us where to pour the water and gasoline and oil in. He showed us also how to put the top up and the curtains on. By then it was time for eating supper, and we all went by the house inn. By eating supper, Father said it came him so for it might be good we should tomorrow once visit the Penners by Shineways. Penners also had a new car, and lived where our new preacher came from. Father said there was something he should talk about with Mr. Penner, and we had already a long time not visited the Penners. We were glad, so Father told us to make everything tonight ready yet. Mother said she didn't feel herself very good from all this excitement, and thought she should stay tomorrow better home. But Father said she would feel better if she took some Alpenkräuter and laid herself early down. If the rest of us made everything by 9 o'clock ready, we could all go with. The girls made a basket of Tweeback, with smoked sausage in to eat on the road, while my brothers and I took care of the horses and wiped from the car the dust off. The coffee kettle was ready on the stove to cook in the morning and to pour in the big jug for our trip to the Penners. Mother took some Alpenkräuter in and had the bottle by her bed standing, where she lay and told us what needed yet. Every time she told us something, she held her head and took another spoon of Alpenkräuter. By 9 o'clock everything was ready, and Mother said she felt herself already much better. Lucky she got better so quick, because the bottle of Alpenkräuter was now empty. We went that night all early to bed, but we couldn't sleep in. All we could think was how tomorrow early morning we would lay loose on our first car drive to Shineways.